Episode 14 in the Bad Batch is filled with references, Clone Wars cameos, and so much you might have missed. Definitely one of the best episodes of the season, and a cliffhanger ending that leaves us wondering, oh crap, what's gonna happen next? Will he be okay? Will Omega be okay? That's the real question we're all asking, because you know she's gonna have the separation anxiety, but more on that soon. So much happened in this one, from the clones to the Kaminoans to everything else. So let's unpack this thing. Here are 45 details, Easter eggs, and points of interest in episode 14. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So the episode is titled War Mantle, but what this means isn't actually explained in the episode. Project War Mantle was referenced in episode 3 and is basically the Empire's project of transitioning away from the clone troopers and instead opting for an army of conscripted soldiers. We've seen this progress throughout this first season of the Bad Batch, but things really ramped up this episode with the whole Imperial operation, training stormtroopers, and moving the clones off Kamino. Also, War Mantle was actually mentioned in Rogue One when Jin was in the Imperial base on Scarif looking through some old files. He mentioned War Mantle. Alright, so the episode starts with this clone trooper being chased by two dog-like creatures. These are Massif, which we first saw in Attack of the Clones when Anakin slaughters not just the men, but the women and the children and even their cute dogs. And then they also appeared in the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian. Good old Mandos having a good pat. But where are we? What is this planet? Well, we find out a little later. It's called Darrow and is in the Outer Rim, and as Tech says, has no known settlements or installations. There's not supposed to be anyone here. This is a new planet. We've never seen or heard of it before in Star Wars. And at first I was like, who is this clone? Is it Hauser? Has he escaped? No, his hair is a little different. Wait, I think it's Gregor. That's right. Sweet. So we're probably going to learn how he meets up with Rex and how all this links to Star Wars Rebels. Anyway, he takes a stun shot to the leg like an absolute beast and keeps hobbling along, but is eventually captured. Also, what were the Massif going to do if they got to him? They're going to like bite onto him and, you know, grab him? Because as soon as he's stunned, they're like, yeah, it's cool. We don't need to, you know, chewing on his legs anymore. It doesn't need to be done. Then we're aboard the Bad Batch's ship and Hunter is playing with his knife while Omega's working on Gonki. Then Omega starts trying to spin her repair tool like Hunter. I like that we're getting these little glimpses of what they get up to in their spare time. Busy guy Hunter. He's doing a lot with his spare time, spinning knives. So the Bad Batch get a friendly phone call from Rex. He's wearing his cloak and seems to be in a bit of a tight spot though. Where is he? What's he up to? Hopefully we learn soon. But he asks the Bad Batch to go rescue his old friend Gregor. Now, let me know if I'm forgetting something, but I didn't even think Rex and Gregor knew each other during the Clone Wars. In Gregor's episode, it's implied that they don't know each other. When Gregor's shown the hologram of Rex, they're just like, yeah, this is just another clone like you when he's trying to get his memory going, you know? Because Gregor's forgotten everything. So it seems like sometime after this, they became acquainted and got to know each other, but hopefully we'll learn more about that in the coming episodes. Also, Rex mentions Gregor's identification number, CC5576, CC being Clone Commando. Back on Kamino, it seems as though the Empire are moving all the clones off-world and are getting ready to abandon this facility, just one phase of Project War Mantle. You might have noticed the Venator Star Destroyers hovering low in the atmosphere over the city, as if they have a stranglehold on the Kaminoans. They're putting a lot of pressure, they're very intimidating, and they're getting ready to leave. There's something so different about the mood on Kamino in these scenes. It's the lighting, the atmosphere. Even the brightly lit hallways somehow feel darker. Look at those shadows on their faces. Scary, scary stuff. This young clone queries Nala Se about leaving the facility, saying that it's against protocol, to which Nala Se replies,
"Your training will continue elsewhere."
However, I'm not sure it actually will. With Rampart making a real push away from clones, what will become of these young cadets? Will they be trained in a special division of the Empire, or will they join the rebellion, or will they perhaps be killed? The kid asks if we'll still be soldiers, and she eerily replies,
"Of course. That is what you were made for."
Then Nala Se is called aside by Prime Minister Lama Su, who informs her that the Empire has cancelled all of their contracts. The Empire doesn't want any new clones to be made, and they're cancelling everything. And this is likely a reaction to the events that took place on Ryloth. This has given the Empire another reason to not continue with the cloning program, with Captain Hauser and several other clones defecting. The Empire are realizing the clones aren't reliable, even if they are better soldiers. They're seeing too much insubordination and have therefore decided to take what remaining clones they have and move off-world. But this leaves the Kaminoans in a tight spot, because the Empire will want to tie up loose ends and likely kill all Kaminoans involved in the cloning operation. Are we going to see a clone uprising on Kamino, or will this facility just be abandoned or destroyed? I think we all want to see the clones fight back, don't we? It's like that old school Battlefront 2 mission. You play as, what, Boba Fett? Come in and kill all your clone brothers. Dark stuff. I also really like that during this scene, Nala Se brings up the fact that the Kaminoans' scientific achievements are known galaxy-wide, and they'll surely find other clients, because after all, the Kaminoans are just in it for the business. They're not really good or bad, they make clones for money. But Lama Su is quick to say the Empire aren't like the Republic, and they'd rather destroy the Kaminoans than let the operation continue. The Empire aren't just going to leave and let the Kaminoans continue making clones to someone else. So the Kaminoans have decided to try and escape instead. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that though, considering how slowly they walk. Seriously, slowest walking creatures in all of Star Wars, and they're like, yeah, we're going to make an escape. We're going to get out of here. Going to be caught. So back to the Bad Batch. Hunter seems really uneasy with the whole idea of traveling to a planet to save just one clone, a reg they don't even know. And Echo is a real driving force in this episode.
Rex trusts him, and I trust Rex.
And we see more of Echo's input a bit later, but seriously, Hunter's not happy about the whole thing, putting his squad in danger for someone they don't even know. I feel like that's been the case a lot of the time for Hunter. He didn't want to go save Hera's family on Ryloth and had to be convinced. And, you know, it was a successful mission, but how much luck are they going to continue to have? Same thing happening here. I like that we also get to see more of Hunter's specialized skills. He picks up a stick, sniffs it, and then tells the others we're already too late. He got a lot from that sniff. The stick can tell you a lot. Also, I like that Hunter tells both Wrecker and Omega to wait on the ship. Last time he told just Omega to wait, and that didn't really work out, did it? So Hunter, Tech, and Echo climb this entire mountain on foot. I mean, look at the size of that thing. How long do you think it took them to get up there? And they discover that inside the mountain is an Imperial military base. Seriously though, they had no climbing gear, and they just scale this whole thing like it's no dramas for them. Look how steep it is. We look down at the base and see an LAAT, a transport, along with several rows of troopers, and our first look at clone commandos, or should I say Imperial commandos, because that's what they are at this point. Highly trained, deadly specialists working for the Empire. And Echo comments on how the troopers have updated their armor. The armor, which we see up close a little later, is heavily inspired by the original design of the Stormtrooper, created by Ralph McQuarrie. He's the illustrator who designed so much of the look and feel of Star Wars. George Lucas commissioned him to do a bunch of illustrations so George could pitch the original film to movie executives and actually get the film made. So it looks like these troopers will be part of the transition to stormtroopers. They're not quite clone troopers, they're not quite stormtroopers, they're something in between. So as soon as Hunter sees that the Empire is involved and sees the amount of troopers at this base, that this is a bigger operation, he's ready to get the heck out of here. Just gonna send Rex a message and say, hey man, sorry, can't get to your buddy, he's probably, you know, dead inside this base. But Echo hasn't moved. He says,
what about the mission?
Hunter and Tech argue they'd be going in blind, no reinforcements, no idea if the reg is even in there or if he's even still alive. But then Echo says,
you did that on Skako Minor when you rescued me. I'd still be trapped in that place if you hadn't.
This is going back to Season 7 of the Clone Wars, when Echo was held by the CIS, his body and mind used for experiments, messed up stuff. And I always love how Star Wars is able to show so much emotion without even seeing the characters' faces. Looking at Echo's helmet, I feel like I can see the pain in his eyes when he says these things. Okay, back aboard the ship, Wrecker and Omega are playing a game on top of Gonki. I'm not sure what this game is though, I tried looking it up. Looks like a Star Wars version of checkers. It's not Sabak or Dedrick, but I bet Omega wins regardless. She'll win in any game, it seems. Now, Hunter, Tech, and Echo enter the Imperial base. They make their way through corridors resembling those from the Death Star. And man, the sound design and score of this show are so good, because we immediately hear those same drums and motifs we originally heard in A New Hope on the Death Star. We also get our first mention of TK Troopers, the designation given to Stormtroopers. There are 1,000 TK Troopers and 50 clone commandos stationed at this base. Tech mentions he's not familiar with TK Troopers because they were only just created. The Empire have no more use for CT Troopers, otherwise clone troopers. There are a few Aurebesh translations on this console as well. This says 4, but I think it's supposed to say food. This says top view. On the right we have perspective details and touch for details. Another graphic, this says base schematic. Each of of these say floor, and the floors are K62, H21, and G78. So there's some cool stuff here, but nothing that's actually, a secret message. No one's trying to talk to the audience through Orabesh, unfortunately. Still waiting for that to happen. Then we meet Gregor in his cell. This TK trooper calls him a traitor.
Traitor.
Which we've heard stormtroopers shout several times, been heard in Star Wars, most notably in The Force Awakens.
Traitor!
This entire rescue mission is actually really similar to Luke, Han, Chewie, and Ben rescuing Princess Leia on the Death Star. It's a whole homage to that. The Bad Batch find Gregor in his cell, and he questions who they are, similar to what Leia did when Luke came in. Very similar, a lot of crossovers here. The fact there even stares into the cell, stares down like looking down into the cell, I think that's part of it too. Gregor also runs his hand through his hair, just as he did in his episode of the Clone Wars. There's a little small character detail. Gregor then comments on the Bad Batch's armor.
Armor like that? I take it you're CCs, like me.
CCs being clone commandos, to which Hunter replies,
CT-99s.
Defective clones.
Echo asks Gregor about his assignment here. What's he doing here? And he tells them he was an instructor. The clone commandos were brought here to train the new Imperial recruits. Didn't do a very good job though, did they? This screen behind Tech originally says enter access code and then says access denied as the alarm starts to sound and Tech is screwed up and probably screwed them all. You probably noticed that the Bad Batch are still using stun rounds. Well, more info on that soon. Not sure if this is just a Disney thing. You can't actually kill other, I don't know. Oh, and Hunter chokes out a commando, and as the commando goes down, his visor light actually turns off. I thought that was a cool little detail. Okay, so they find out that these TK troopers aren't actually clone troopers. They're our replacements. And Gregor briefly explains Project War Mantle, how the Empire chose to create an army of conscripted soldiers because they are endless in numbers, even if they're not as skilled. And then even after the Bad Batch learn that these aren't clones, they still decide to use stun weapons. They're not shooting their own brainwashed clone brothers anymore, so what's the problem? Just get it done. Down and out. One shot, one kill. And then we get the Delta Squad reference. Scorch shows up. The legend has returned. Hey man. And they kick him out of the way of the elevator and then leave him. But anyway, he chases them. Another detail on the weapons. The TK troopers still appear to be using the clones' DC-15A blasters. However, they sound really different. They're much closer in sound to the E11s used by the stormtroopers, even though the blasts are still blue. Anyway, Scorch then shoots Gregor twice, beats up Tech, and then takes 4 stun shots before eventually going down. Dude, can we get this guy's chip removed and sign him up to the Bad Batch? The guy is a machine. Can we just get that Delta Squad game? Can we get another game, please? Delta Squad, or even a TV show about Delta. We just want them back. Original voice actors and everything. Also, Scorch isn't using the classic Republic Commandos DC-17M. He's also using a DC-15A. Wrecker has the DC-17M, which is going to make a very grand appearance very soon. I'm looking forward to showing you that. After having been shot, Gregor talks about how he got blown up once and survived. Here, he's talking about how he was swarmed by droids on Abafar, and we didn't actually learn he survived until his appearance in Star Wars Rebels. Also, that's why his voice is different in this episode to the Clone Wars. The explosion caused him to go a little loopy, which is closer to what he is in Star Wars Rebels as well, and that's why he talks like this and, all the evil laughs. As they enter the pipes, we hear the Republic Commando visor sound effect. Listen here. A little detail, so many Republic Commando details in this episode. So the Bad Batch signal Wrecker and Omega to come pick them up, and the Empire also call for backup, deploying V-Wings and LATs, both of which are Republic vehicles, which are obviously still in use. So you know how I mentioned the whole time the Bad Batch have been using stun rounds, and they're sticking to that even though, they're not shooting their brainwashed clone brothers anymore. They're just still deciding to go with the stun for some reason. Well, as soon as Wrecker shows up, he's like, screw this, and just unloads. Just lighting them up. Wrecker's got the real stuff. And there's the DC-17M. Also, we finally see how gonk droids can be useful. Omega plugs Gonky in for some extra power to the ship. So basically, it seems gonk droids are just like giant walking batteries. Also, Tech is an absolute beast of a pilot. Did you notice this? Check out some of these maneuvers. Man, Anakin would be impressed. Also, there are some translations on the dashboard. This says shields active, and this shields inactive. I really love how much of the ship's controls we got to see in this episode. There's a lot of dashboard stuff happening, a lot of different shots of it. Anyway, Hunter jumps, tries to grab the ship, but misses and falls for like hundreds of meters and definitely should have died. 100% dead. Okay, so the Bad Batch's ship gets shot a few times, and as Tech starts to restart the engine, we get a sound effect really similar to the pod racers when Anakin's trying to restart his engine in The Phantom Menace. You're just, you know, fiddling with the button, trying to get it going, and it's like... And then Scorch has woken up from his little nap he didn't need long, and along with a few other commandos and TK troopers, they capture Hunter. And the Bad Batch leave him behind. I'm sure they'll be back soon though. Alright, we're back on Kamino. For a species that walks so slow, man did they design doors that open super quickly. Bam! This was like a jump scare when Rampart walked in. It's just bam, the doors open. Anyway, Rampart says Nala Se was getting ready to flee Kamino with a bunch of other scientists and medical workers, and then Rampart's saying crap about the clones, and he's talking crap about he never found them to be impressive. Hello, you're the dude who created stormtroopers and you never found the clones to be impressive. If there's one thing the clones are, it's impressive and very efficient and actually good at what they're doing. I don't know what you're on about here, Rampart, blinded by his own power. And then Rampart's all like,
a scientist I have use for. A politician I do not.
And he leaves Lama Su with his firing squad, but we don't actually hear any blasts, so it's possible he was just detained. Hopefully they didn't actually kill Lama Su, because maybe they have another purpose for him in someone, who knows, but also it's very, very possible he's dead. And so Hunter is stuck in a cell on Daro, probably the same cell they were using for Gregor, and he's not in it anymore. Why not just stick the guy in the same cell? And Crosshair shows up, and they have a bit of a face-off. It's reunion once again. So when will the Bad Batch be back to save him? Who else is going to come help? Is Rex coming? Is anyone else? Will Hunter survive? Forget Hunter, I'm more worried about Lama Su, aren't you? But if there are any details you noticed in this episode that I missed, please let me know in the comments. And for more on the Bad Batch, you can watch one of these videos here and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming news, updates, and everything else you want and need. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.